Hello, my name is Ioanna Trafalis, and I work for the Athens Institute for Education and Research, which is a world association for academics and researchers. We have started a new initiative of interviewing the participants that attend a menu conference in Athens to present their work. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Gerd Groezinger, professor at the Europa-Universität of Flensburg in Germany. Hello, Dr. Groezinger.
Hello.
Welcome to Athens and welcome to our series of interviews.
Hello.
So, I'd like to start with your presentation at our conference. You present the paper, A Challenge for the EU and the World, How to Cope with Refugees. Please tell us a few words about it.
Yeah, the refugee crisis is not a European crisis, it's a global crisis with more than 60 million displaced persons. 40 million are inside the nations and more than 20 are outside the nations. In Europe we have less than 2 million taken into. If you want to find a solution, it should be a kind of model approach for other nations to follow. And my solution would be, we have on the other hand, besides our moral and legal obligations, we have something like a deep-rooted feeling in many member states of the European Union that the right to regulate migration is a core element of the citizenship. So we have a lot of negative sentiments against that. And from a constitutional point of view, an economical constitutional point of view, the best is you have a kind of self-binding obligation. And my proposal would be we have a small tariff on all imports to raise additional income, and we use this additional income. One part of it should be used for cover all the costs of refugees in the different member states, and the other part, which we don't want to use, should go unconditionally to the UNHCR to cover the costs of other poorer countries in the world. Basically, that's it.
Okay, thank you. So tell us a few words about yourself, your studies, your career.
I'm a sociologist and economist. I have degrees in both cases, and now I'm a professor for social and educational economics at the Europa-Universität Flensburg, which is in the most northern town of Germany and directly at the Danish border. So we have a lot of international contact, especially with our Scandinavian colleagues. And I mostly teach in a master studies program in European Studies, fully taught in English and very internationally. Many students from many different countries who get many perspectives.
That's nice. So, your major current area of research, you mentioned now, or?
Partly, one leg is economic policy, so where this refugee crisis proposal is coming from, or Euro crisis, thinking about that. The other leg is higher education policies.
So how do you view the refugee issue in Greece? And how do you think the Greek government can cope with it? Because
it's a very difficult question if you don't read Greek sources. I think the actual government is much better than the older one. So there was a kind of humanitarian catastrophe, as far as I can judge from the media. The new one is, I think, pretty much into the standard regulatory frame. This is the good side. The bad side is Europe is not ready to find a solution for the whole European Union. So Greece is stuck in this situation. We had this agreement in September 2015 to redistribute a lot of refugees from both Greece and Italy, the other big country which is under pressure, and practically only a couple of thousand from this over 100,000 are redistributed. So it's not the failure of the Greek government, it's the failure of the other member states.
Okay. So how are you introduced to ATNER, and what made you join the conference?
It's a difficult question because I'm on the mailing list since a couple of years and I have no idea how I got on the mailing list. So I've totally forgotten about that. I thought it interesting every year. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of the German teaching period. And it's in the middle of the week, so you lose the teaching week if you attend here. And I allow myself usually one conference losing of a teaching week per semester, and mostly I had another one before the Athens conference,
Okay.
so I couldn't attend here. So this is my first time attendance, and I liked it.
Nice. We're glad to have you here. So, tell us about the educational system in Germany. What do you think are the advantages and disadvantages?
It's basically not a bad system. If you look at the outcomes in terms of knowledge levels. It's a not very good system if you look at the possibility that inequality is reduced by the education. So here we have really a disadvantage against other more progressive states like Scandinavia and so on. And my specialty is higher education. Here we have a special problem. The educational system in Germany is part of the federal structures on the Länder level, the states level, not on the federal level, which means in higher education you have a kind of system where there are no transfer payments between states who don't have enough places for students. So many Länder states say we don't need so many students because it's free in Germany. So we are both under-dimensioned in the higher education system, and we are also under-financed, I would say.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's very
Thank
nice
you.
having you.